My name is Leah Carter. I'm 31. And if you think you know how this story ends, stay with me. That morning, my dad came to pick up my son Ben for the weekend. He opened the fridge, empty shelves staring back. "Sweetheart, you earn $3,000 a month. Why is your child hungry?" he asked quietly. Before I could speak, my husband walked in and said proudly, "I gave her salary to my mother." Dad just stood there, jacket still on, staring at the empty fridge. He didn't yell. He didn't move. But I saw it. That look he gets when something inside him snaps quietly. My son peeked from behind me, holding his stuffed fox. Dad's voice dropped. "Is that true?" I wanted to lie, to protect what little was left of my marriage, but silence spoke for me. "It's not a big deal," my husband shrugged. "My mom needed it. She's family." Dad's jaw tightened. "And what about this family?" My husband laughed. "You wouldn't understand. Some of us respect our parents." Dad's eyes narrowed. "Respect isn't obedience. It's responsibility." He turned to me. "Go pack Ben's bag." I froze. "What?" "Pack it," he said firmly. "He's coming with me." I'd heard that tone before. The same tone he used when he defended Mom years ago. As I zipped Ben's backpack, my husband barked, "You're not taking him anywhere." Dad didn't argue. He just pulled out his phone, made a short call, and 10 minutes later, a police car pulled up. My husband wasn't smiling anymore. When the officers left, Dad walked to me, calm but heavy. "Go get your son something real to eat," he said softly. His voice wasn't angry. It was disappointed, which somehow hurt more. He rolled up his sleeves, opened his wallet, and said quietly, "A man who feeds others never lets his family starve." That night, the kitchen smelled like butter, not fear. Ben finally laughed again. But I knew this was only the beginning. By morning, tension hung in the house like smoke. My husband leaned against the counter, arms crossed. "You didn't have to call the police. That was dramatic." Dad looked at him, calm but firm. "You stole from my daughter and let your child go hungry. I should have called a judge instead." He opened his briefcase and laid a paper on the table. "You wanted control? Fine. Sign this disclosure. Every cent from her salary goes on record now." Shoulder's face went pale. "You can't be serious." Dismissing. "I'm more than serious," Dad said. "I'm her father, and today I'm reminding you what that means." Relinquening, silence filled the house again. My husband tried to explain, saying his mother needed the money for medical bills. Dad listened, then said, "Then you should have worked for it, not stolen it from your wife." Retract with like a hammer. I whispered, "I didn't even know my salary was being rerouted. He changed the bank email." Dad turned sharply. "Is that true?" No answer. Just guilt hiding behind arrogance. Dad sighed, then laid more papers on the table. Statements, letters, proof. Sickness. "You've been draining $14,000 every quarter. All traceable. All recoverable." Husband's voice cracked. "You wouldn't." "I would," Dad said coldly. "Unless you fix it." Then he looked at me. "Tomorrow you'll open a new account. Separate everything. I'll help you." For the first time in months, I felt seen. That night, Dad cooked dinner again. Ben smiled, spooning cereal. Midlands muttered, "You're making me look bad." Dad replied quietly, "You did that yourself." And for the first time in a long time, I believed him. The next morning, Dad picked me up early. At the bank, he introduced me to the manager, apparently an old friend. Within 30 minutes, I had a new account, new credit line, and legal protection in my name. When we finished, Dad smiled softly. "Don't apologize for being smart, Leah. You just needed someone to remind you it's okay to use it." I left a note on the counter. "My money feeds my child, not your pride." I didn't wait for his reaction. The weekend, the house felt different. Ben played quietly while I labeled boxes. Mine, Ben's, start over. Dad arrived, looked around, and smiled faintly. "You've started packing." "I'm not sure where yet," I said, "but I can't stay here." He nodded. "You don't need to know where, only that you're leaving." Moments later, my husband stormed in. "You're turning my son against me." Dad didn't flinch. "No, I'm teaching him what a man should look like." My husband shouted, "You don't understand marriage." "Maybe not yours," Dad said, stepping closer. but I understand decency. He looked him dead in the eye. If you cared about your family, you'd have filled that fridge before calling your mother. Silence followed, heavy, final. When he stormed out, Dad placed a hand on my shoulder. This isn't the end, Leia. It's the beginning of you becoming the mother Ben deserves. That night, dinner didn't taste like survival. It tasted like home. 2 weeks later, I filed for separation. No drama, just quiet signatures, thick papers, and a deep breath that felt like freedom. Dad drove me to court. When the clerk stamped the papers, she said, "You'll get your hearing date soon." Dad smiled. "How do you feel?" "Free," I whispered, "and terrified." He chuckled softly. "Then you're doing it right." Weeks passed. My husband didn't contest. Crimson custody over to me, handed over the house keys, and walked out. No apologies, no noise, just silence. The kind that means peace has finally arrived. That night, I baked cookies with Ben. He asked, "Will Grandpa live with us forever?" I smiled. "He'll always be close, baby. Always." Left, I sat by the window, tea in hand, the same spot where the fridge once stood empty. Now the shelves were full, and so was my heart. A message from Dad. Proud doesn't begin to cover it. You didn't let them break you. I smiled. You taught me how, I replied. Across the table lay a new job offer, a leadership role in a media firm that had followed my story online. Bracelets wasn't lost on me. Smith, once mocked for not handling money, was now teaching others how to value themselves. Whispered into the quiet, "We're enough now, Ben." And for the promise. And for the first time, the world didn't feel heavy. It felt earned. You like my story? And which city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If this story touched your heart, so I can keep bringing you more stories like this, thank you so much for your sweet support. I can't wait to read your thoughts on today's story. On the screen, you'll see 2 new stories that I highly recommend. There's so much more waiting for you on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story. With love and respect, Avember.